3,
2,
1.
Young
Wisdom.
Young
Wisdom.
Young
Wisdom.
Welcome back to the Young Wisdom Podcast, Episode 2. My name is Rodney. I'm your co-host for today's episode entitled Be Your Own Boss, Money Mindset. We have a great program outlined for you. We are going to be kicking off with the instrumental trumpet solo by Michaela. The title of the song she will be playing is Melody by Albert Bile. Here's Michaela.
Hello, my name is Philip. The skit that you're about to witness is entitled You Need a Job. It's a skit of encouragement, a skit of humor, a skit of truth. It encourages you to be their own boss. You can't work for a better person than yourself. The participants of the skit is Jada, Rodney, and Journey. Now sit back and enjoy the skit that we've created for you today.
Rodney, can I borrow $10?
You don't even have a job to pay me back.
Okay, then can I borrow $20
Why 20?
so I can pay you back the $10 I borrowed?
Ha ha, very funny, Jada. You need a job.
Nobody's going to hire me because I'm too young.
I'm a year older than you. Journey and I have a job. Besides, why do you need $10?
Some of my friends are going out for pizza and I want to go too, but everyone is paying their own way.
Have you heard the word entrepreneur?
Well, yeah, it is when a person starts or has their own business.
Right. So you do what we call a money mindset. Hey, Journey, I'm talking to Jada about being an entrepreneur.
Great. We started our own business, making our own money, and being our own boss. Well, until we get older, our parents are our financial advisors.
What kind of business do you own?
Skin products for your face, hands, lips, and body. Something that every woman, man, boy, and girl needs and can use.
I would like to start my own business. How do I get started?
Researching is a start. Go to the library, search the internet, read books. Right now, you can start by listening to this podcast about entrepreneurship, titled Be Your Own Boss. It's starting shortly.
Sounds great. In the meantime, can you loan me $10?
So, how are you going to pay me back?
Will you loan me $20
Why 20?
so I can pay you back the $10 I borrowed?
You really need to listen to this podcast. Here's $10. Pay me back when you start your own business. Come here, team. The podcast, Be Your Own Boss, Money Mindset, is about to start. It's starting. Listen.
Hello, my name is Michaela, and I would like to introduce to you StuntTeam Productions. StuntTeam Productions originated in Chicago in 2016 during football season at Northwestern University. The original STP members, LaRandall, Solo, X, and Auston dropped their debut single, Stunt Season, under StuntTeam Productions, solidifying the group. What was a hobby turned into a career post-graduation. LaRandall, currently COO of StuntTeam Productions, had recently returned to Dallas after playing basketball at McMurray and was working with Dallas artist Trey Leno. While working in corporate America, their goal was to build an infrastructure to support themselves and their clients' ideal lifestyles. Since 2019, StuntTeam Productions has built client portfolios across multiple fields, specializing in artist management, distribution, digital marketing, food industry consultation, brand management consultation, and fintech crypto consultation. Some of their most prominent clients include Marcos Davila, Laren Wong, Clover the Violinist, Pots and Jars Dallas, Fintech Bank, Rift Pay, Splash Drexler, Covenant Food Co., and Parlay Gambling Services. StuntTeam, STP Inc., is an artist management and brand management consultation house. As a corporation, STP Inc. prides themselves on developing their clients' physical, financial, spiritual, and emotional wellness. They focus on interpersonal relationships and building solid foundations. STP Inc. believes when involved parties are able to operate in good faith and with high emotional intelligence, the highest quality of work can be achieved. One common saying at STP Inc. is, keep it real with yourself first. The company's goal for their recording artists is to help each individual find their purpose. STP Inc. is proud of the genuine relationships they have built throughout the years. This year, each artist has seen over 100% growth in streams on major platforms. When you get an opportunity, take a moment to support their artist. Laren Wong, Splash Drexler, Clover the Violinist, Marcos Davila, Y&D Static, and 3 Notch. Without further delay, I introduce to you StuntTeam Productions.
Welcome to our podcast. I'm Journey. Please state the name of your business and share what your business is about.
You want to take off, LaRandall?
Yeah, that's fine. Our business is StuntTeam Productions Incorporated. We specialize in day-to-day management for artists, marketing, and business consulting in the DFW Metroplex.
Thank you. How did you come up with the name for your business?
Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, so when I was in college, we had a rap group, me and some of my guys, some of my teammates, and we came up with the stunt team. And from that, we had our songs were being played across the Big Ten. They would play our songs before the game, after the game, halftime, throughout the rotation. So the stunt team kind of stuck. And then once we graduated college, our main artist, Laren Wong, ended up going to the NFL. And once he retired from the NFL, we got back together, me, him, and LaRandall, and we created StuntTeam Productions Incorporated. And that's kind of where we first started with the music and managing artists. And then it's kind of evolved from there.
Interesting. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rodney, and I want to wonder, what made you want to become an entrepreneur?
I guess we can just kind of piggyback back and forth, Austin. But being an entrepreneur, Austin and myself both started working in the corporate world initially, just 9 to 5, and so we kind of seen how it was structured and what it took to be in that 9 to 5 space. We kind of understood how entrepreneurship and starting our own business worked as well, and it was something we were passionate about. It was the route less traveled, but it just made more sense to put in all that time and effort that we were putting into a 9 to 5 into something that we love doing.
Yeah. And just like LaRandall has said, getting into the entrepreneurial space has always been kind of at the forefront of our conversations, going the corporate route. And don't ever let anybody tell you, it's a bad thing to go corporate, because at the end of the day, we've done the entrepreneurial gig, but it's hard to do it with no budget. And it's a constant hustle, and it's a constant grind. So if you have a consistent 9 to 5 where you can get the finances to funnel into your entrepreneurial path, always go that route versus just jumping off into the deep end and then, and then trying to swim, because it's not for everybody. But being an entrepreneur has always been in the cards. At the end of the day, especially for Black folk, the way we get generational wealth is ownership. So the first step is creating that ownership and that value within your own enterprises. So that's kind of where that stemmed from.
Thank you.
My name is Michaela, and I would like to know what inspired the idea for your business.
Really, like Auston has said, how the name even started. Both of us, we went to separate colleges, and we both were, collegiate athletes. And while we were in that space, coming to the end of our careers, we began venturing out into the music world. The first artist I personally started working with, he was Dallas-based, and I started doing some management for him in 2018. And I ended up booking him on some shows and even a Trippie Redd tour. And that was kind of how I got introduced into, the music industry space. And then from there, Auston was working with LaRandall, the artist that we work with now, while he was in school as well. And we just kind of merged together and just kept the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we both have to answer each question, or is it just kind of like whoever goes?
Y'all can both answer it.
Okay. So yeah. So getting into that field, like LA said, we both were ex-athletes. We both had artists who were either ex-athletes or currently already in the space. So, it just was kind of a no-brainer. Me and LaRandall grew up together as well. So It was kind of a no-brainer for us to come back and reconnect, seeing that we're walking the same path. Okay, how can we leverage this together to, try and make our shared vision a reality? So just a tidbit of advice, for people who are, and young cats who are looking to maybe get in the business and do your own thing, make sure you find a partner that you can trust and that you've known for a while. So you kind of know, their tendencies, you kind of know what background they come from, what type of, upbringing they have. Make sure they got, good home training before you get into business with people. Because the last thing you want to do, like me and LaRandall can tell you, is get into business with people you don't really know like that. And now, they've done you bad, because you didn't do your due diligence on the person themselves. So just a little bit of advice.
Thank you. How did you build your business, and what inspired you to build it?
So we built our business from the ground up. I think now we have, we work with 4 to 5 different companies doing their marketing. We have we got Laren Wong, Marco Splash. So we got about 6 artists that we work with now. A couple of fashion brands. So we built everything from the ground up, and we built it. Our motto was, do good business and stand for something. So, we've built the business on relationships. We've built it on loyalty. And also that come in respect, because at the end of the day, these artists and the people that we work with are individuals in themselves. So you want to treat everybody like an adult. You want to treat everybody with respect, and with respect to their craft and them being experts in their own field. And operating on those principles, we've made some very good connections. We've made some lifelong connections. And we've also, made a lot of mistakes that we've been able to learn from as young entrepreneurs, and kind of share those pitfalls with people that we come across, because like, hey, like your parents always tell you, learn from my mistakes, so you don't have to make them. So that's what we built the business, and LaRandall can expound a little bit more on it, but from a foundational standpoint, that's where we're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, Austin pretty much covered everything. We really stand on doing good business and standing for something, because like you said in the past, just in the industry that we're in, and just obviously learning curves, being young entrepreneurs, you will run into different things that may look like gold, but it might not always be gold. So like what he said is very true.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Okay, if I may ask, what is your title and what is it responsible for?
Well, I'll say this, Austin and myself, we have specific titles when it comes to LinkedIn, but in-house, we pretty much do everything. He's the CEO, I'm the COO, but I mean, we do everything. We can be the videographer sometimes, we can be the errand boy when we need to. We also are the decision makers of our business as well. So being young entrepreneurs and also just a startup, you don't always have the liberty to hire everybody that you need to do every single job. So you have to take on multiple roles.
Yeah. So, like I said, for tax purposes, LA would be the COO, I'd be the CEO. But like you said, man, we wear all the hats. I mean, from, we done hosted car shows to, sourcing videographers to, being cooks to, being ticket guys at the door for the events to, you wear a lot of hats. So I would say titles and stuff really don't mean anything when you're running your own business outside of whatever you're going to put on your paperwork, because it's all hands on deck, especially when you don't have a huge team.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Do you need a degree for your business? And if you do, how long does it take to get it?
I'll say this, knowing what I know now, you don't need a degree. I'm not discouraging anybody to not go to college, because college is a great route. Not to my own horn, but I do have 2 degrees, so that's coming from me. However, your network can sometimes define your net worth. So who you make lifelong connections with and who you're able to open your mouth to speak to and, pick their brains, it'll really teach you a lot. So, I mean, especially in today's society, we live in the age of information. So, I mean, you can have a PhD in Google pretty much. It's not too much you can't learn from Google and YouTube.
Seriously.
With that being said, college does teach you, shows the ability to learn something, and that does go a long way. But that's my take on the college route.
Yeah, you don't need no degree. If you're going to be in the entertainment field, a degree is kind of just icing on the cake. I mean, when you're doing bigger business deals and you start dealing with Fortune 500 companies and major entities and organizations, a degree would definitely look better optics wise. But in reality, I mean, if you know people and you have connects and you're plugged in especially in your own city, if you have plug in your own city, you don't need a degree because it's who you know. So it's a relationship-based business. And it's relationship management and relationship curation. So somebody, who's lived in Dallas their whole life would have a leg up on Joe Schmo, who went to, fancy college X, who's coming into town trying to get new business, So, yeah, man, I would tell everybody to go to college if you have a scholarship. If you're not on scholarship, make sure you go with the best options that give you the least debt. But if you're trying to go this route, establish your relationships and build your network. Don't really worry too much about, trying to go to somebody's college and spending all that money. If this is the route you want to go, I'll say that.
True. Very true. Right.
Thank you. Do you like being your own boss? And what is the worst and best thing about it?
Being your own boss is cool. It's a little bit overrated. Just because it's a whole lot that comes with being your own boss for real. But the best part to me about being my own boss is I get to sleep. So that's the best part about it for me. You know, you can like the work still has to get done. So, but being able to sleep is and being able to get your rest is cool. And then I'd say the worst part about being your own boss is the lack of consistency, I guess, that comes with it, especially being in the entertainment space. You're not going to be getting checks like that. So don't expect to come in this industry getting paid. You're not going to be getting checks like that. That's why I say make sure you have some type of hustle, a side hustle, or whether that's you having a day job and you come home and do this on your own time. But make sure you have some type of income, because it gets cold at night trying to pay all the bills off being your own boss. I'll tell you that. Especially if you have, if you got your own spot and, you got to pay for all your own stuff. Hey, man, it adds up, and life is expensive, and being an entrepreneur is super expensive. So don't let that fall by the wayside.
Man, that's very true. That's very true. I know a lot of times people have fell in love with just the glitz and glams of saying, like, I own a business or I'm my own boss. But like you said, at the end of the day, it gets kind of tricky sometimes. So it's very true.
Thank you. How do you give back to the community that you serve? For example, scholarships, school supplies, training classes, etc.
Currently, I know we have some things in the works. We are a fairly young business, I would say that. So just the giving back aspect of it, obviously that kind of takes some capital in a sense. However, our giving back right now is really just kind of what this podcast represents, just really passing down our knowledge and inspiring the youth right now. I know it doesn't sound like much, but just, what we've been through and things that we've dealt with, it goes a long way, especially when you can relate to younger people. I mean, Auston and myself, we're only in our mid-20s, early 20s, whatever you want to call it. But we've experienced a lot and we've learned a lot of lessons. So we can definitely pass that down.
Yeah. I would say the way that we give back, like LA was saying, is our knowledge and the game that we can give to the up-and-coming cats. And especially, in the communities that we serve, I deal a lot with my guys, ex-athletes, guys making that transition from playing, Division I ball or playing big-time ball to being civilians, helping them make that transition, kind of just giving the cats game that I wish I knew when I was coming out of college and trying to walk down this path. Steering the young guys in the right direction, really putting them on like, hey, bro, it's cool and it's sexy to do your own thing, but, make sure you do what's best for you as a person and not getting caught up in the hype and in, like LA said, in the glitz and the glam of the lifestyle. Because, Dallas is home to the $30,000 millionaire where everybody wants to look like it, but not too many people are actually doing it. So I would say, the best thing that we can offer right now is our knowledge and our time, and investing that time, into our respective communities. And like I said, giving back to the youth where we can, really focusing on the youth though, because the youth are the future. So that's where we try and make our mark.
Thank you. And what achievements have you acquired for your company?
Oh man.
Quite a few. I mean, we've had major placements on, Apple curated playlists. We've orchestrated major songs and features, getting things cleared. We've had placements on, BET, MTV, VH1, etc.
Shoot, Warren's opening up for Blast for his tour. So one of our main artists is going on tour with one of the biggest artists in the world right now. He's the only opening act they have on tour for Blast. We hosted multiple car shows during the pandemic, that had over 10,000 people in attendance. We've had multiple write-ups in Vogue, or not Vogue, I'm sorry, Voyage, Dallas Voyage. We had one of our artists walk in New York Fashion Week this year. man, I'm trying to think what else we've had going with the guys. Shoot, DB, one of our photographers, has become one of the personal photographers for a couple of major nightclubs here in the city. We have contracts with FOA Sports, which is a major sports agency that's based out of Dallas and Los Angeles. Buddy Hield is signed to them, and a couple of other major NBA guys, NFL guys. So, not to toot our own horn, but we've done a nice amount here in the past about year or so. We've made some major traction, and this is, with us financing everything ourselves. So.
True.
That's very cool. Thank you.
What are some basic things a person needs to do to get started in a business?
You say that one more time.
What are some basic things a person needs to do to get started in a business?
Definitely have a business plan and a plan. A lot of times when starting a new business, it's easy to, shoot for the stars. And I definitely suggest that. However, obviously when you start putting in your time, which is the highest value commodity, you have to just be realistic on the vision that you're trying to execute, and definitely be goal oriented. So, set goals for yourself and knock them down, and then just keep moving forward. That's my biggest thing with starting our business. That was huge for us.
Uh-oh, got somebody at my door. Yeah, and I would say, make sure, me and LA spent painstaking hours fleshing out our business plan and trying to figure out, what our unique value proposition is. So I would say make sure you have a value prop. Make sure you have something with your business that distinctly sets you apart from the rest of your competition, or else you're never going to win in the business world. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but at the end of the day, you need to have, if you're going to, try and take on the wheel, you need to have your own brand and your own model. So I would say make sure you have a value proposition. You have something that sets you apart from the rest of your competition, and make sure you know who your target market and your target audience is, and clearly define that before you get to going, and investing money into stuff. You need to know who your product is designed for and who you're going to be, who's going to be your ideal customer or your ideal consumer.
What would be the best and worst career choices someone can make when starting their own business?
The best and worst? It's no really best and worst in my opinion. You just kind of have to learn as you go sometimes. Obviously don't bite off more than you can chew. I'll say that, because then the quality goes down on what you're gonna do. But it's just, yeah, that's really it for me.
I'm sorry, I missed that. You said the best and worst. What was the original question?
What is the best and worst choice someone can make when starting their own business?
Oh, best choice, have some money lined up when you're starting your own business. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and put that on Front Street. You can have the best idea in the world, but I'm going to tell you right now, having some capital lined up is the best decision you can make. And I would say, at least before you get to go and starting your own business, at least have about $5,000 ready, just for whatever might happen, for whatever you might want to do, whatever might happen. Because that's going to be your number one obstacle, is going to be raising money. The worst decision I would say you can do is worst decision I would say you can do is getting into business prematurely, i.e., you're making business moves and business deals without any type of plan, without any type of research prior to it. So just getting into business deals willy-nilly or getting into business willy-nilly is the worst mistake I think you can make personally after what we've dealt with.
Thank you.
Do you have long-term plans for your business? And if so, what are they?
Long-term plans for the business, I think would eventually just be like a full-time firm. With everything we're doing, obviously, and the I'm sorry, maybe not appeal. People will come to us. We don't really seek them out. And honestly, as our business has grown, we have gotten away from that. So that's really big.
Your volume cutting out.
Speaks, highly enough for itself that people will come find you. So that's definitely a long-term road that.
Your volume cutting out, fool.
That we're already starting to get there.
Well, I say, like you said, having a firm will definitely be one of our long-term plays. And then for the business to be able to operate by itself is also one of our long-term goals, to where we can kind of step away and, let the guys that we have in place continue to matriculate and continue to grow. So we can take our hands off and, start to venture into other avenues. But the number one goal for us is to get a major investor, and then 2, to get some type of long-term solution, whether that be a marketing agency or a firm, however the most high, orders our steps. So.
Thank you.
Well, since we're already to the point, we would like to thank you for coming. And if you have anything else you want to tell us, then you can tell us right now before you can go. So yeah, do you have anything you want to tell us before, or something you didn't ask or you didn't want to?
Yeah. I'll tell y'all, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, and if you're really thinking about going into any type of business, I would tell you, find a trade. Find something that y'all can do, that you enjoy doing, that you can do with your hands, or monetize your brain, but find a skill that you can really base your stuff around and monetize. That's what's going to be able to set you apart and make it a lot easier for you to keep your revenue coming in. Because if you can, I would consider us marketing experts, but like, for example, we work on cars as well. We hosted a couple of car shows this year, and when I was a kid, I love cars personally. But when I was a kid, if I had actually spent some time learning how to do an oil change, and I went on YouTube and looked that up, and now by the time I'm 17 or 18, and I can, I know how to do an oil change, that's something that, you can charge somebody $30, $35, $40 to do an oil change. And now you got a whole business doing oil changes. And that one skill has now made you, $10,000, $15,000. So, find a trade or find a skill, and while you're young, find something that you're interested in, but find a trade or a skill, and that'll help you so much in the long run, because it's something that you can always do that they can't take away from you, regardless of COVID or regardless of, outside factors. They can't take away whatever skill that you've developed that you can use to, sustain yourself. That's my only advice to y'all. Besides that, do what you want.
Thank you for that advice.
Some advice that I would have too is, don't be afraid to ask people things that you don't know. I feel like a lot of times just pride kind of gets in the way of just asking people for help or, leaning towards people for networking advice or whatever the case is. But definitely ask people. I mean, the more you learn, the better off you are. And also, too, I suggest, if it's a space or some type of entrepreneurial efforts you would like to get in, find somebody that's already doing something that is similar to what you like. Reach out to them, pick their brains, see if they'll even mentor you, honestly, because that really can take you far as well. And obviously, a lot of times in our community, I feel like we kind of hold each other back because, somebody might already be doing something or be in a space that you want to be in, but it seems like they don't want to give the knowledge. And like me and Auston had said earlier, we really pride ourselves on, giving back to give knowledge in a free game because, I mean, for us, it wasn't like that, starting our own business and whatnot. We would ask people for knowledge and game that's already in the realm that we were in. And, people wanted to charge us and give us the runaround and all that kind of stuff. So, while you all are young now, I definitely suggest reaching out to those people and finding them. And don't be afraid to, hear no either. Be persistent in whatever you all do. That's just life in general. I mean, not everybody's going to be a fan of what you're doing. Not everybody's going to tell you yes when you ask questions and when you ask for things, but be persistent and consistent. So that's my little tip of the day.
That's also good advice. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate that so much for keeping us in mind, being on this podcast, and y'all keep doing what you're doing. Can't wait for this to come out as well and to share it with, family and friends. And we appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you so much, y'all, for having us. And you guys are awesome, man. This is dope to see, young cats really taking the time to, to put together this platform. I wish when I was a young bull that, somebody had gave me a platform to even ask these type of questions from people, from people that are, I know, no offense to the older generation, of course, but, how often are you going to be able to ask people under 30, hey, what does it look like? What does it look like for you? You know what I mean? So this gives a lot of context for the app, for the young Black man, especially, or young Black woman who's trying to figure out, what they want to do, to have some type of ownership or some type of autonomy. So thank you guys so much for putting this on, and this is super dope. So don't let nobody stop you guys' positive momentum.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope you've learned a lot of new things about Be Your Own Boss, Money Mindset. Please continue tuning in for more exciting topics on the Young Wisdom Podcast. Thank you.